That's right.
What was that? Hold on. All right. Where's salute. Welcome to the Damu Kiwe conversation. Salute to everybody in the chat. When you come in, hit that like button. Y'all already know what it is. God, what up with it? Salute to the chat. Hit the like button. We got a special guest today, the homie Tru Wolve Derrick Carter. Exclusive interview today. All right. Let's start like this. We're gonna get some music while people coming in. I know we changed the time so it'll be a little bit earlier. You got some background? I don't know what that is. You can fix that, Wolf. I don't know what that is in the background. Everybody on IG, salute. If you're on Instagram, you can catch the whole interview live right now. You can go to YouTube or you can go on Twitch and you can type in @ActiveChucks. Matter of fact, let me pin that for y'all so y'all know the correct spelling and won't be looking for it. You know what I'm saying? Well, we live. Wilson, Antonio, salute, bro. Thanks for always supporting. You know what it is. And everybody else that's on, that's already on, welcome to the Damu Kiwe conversation. Please hit that like button and share. Y'all see us up on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Edward Bell, salute to the West Coast from the 318 Sweetport, Louisiana. Keep your foot on their neck, homie. Free the big OGU, free Big U. D. Dow Johnson, what's the word? Salute, God. Beautiful black lady, salute to the chat. Mike B. West Bracket. Edward Bell, salute. Dominique Mayweather, salute. Y'all already know what it is. We gonna get it cracking. Hey, share that button. I know I'm going early, and we gonna knock this out like a fade in East Max in the back. Soon as we get here. Let's see what it is. Dollar Man, let's go, boy. Southwest Dice, Prep Cop is still 6-0. Yeah, I don't know how he thinks he's Prep and the police when he went to the police station. So happy early live. I've been moving all week. Well, congratulations on your new spot. You know what I'm saying? And Wolfman and Jackal, Damu and Kiwe, salute to the chat, man. Salute. And salute to the Blue Ridge Mob, man. My people should be coming up in here sooner rather than later. And what we gonna do first, we're gonna stop this music and get right into the content. Everybody else can catch up to it as they come. Hey, Blue Ridge Mob, y'all regulate the chat. Make sure that they hitting that like as they come in. The new people, keep them active in the chat like these active chucks. So, welcome home first and foremost to Derrick Carter, man. Tru Wolves. Good dude, man. He got a phenomenal story. And it's not over. That's the good part about it. It's really just beginning. He got a chance at new life. And it's a tale of a young gang member, a young gang banger who got caught up in the street, made mistakes just like the rest of us, but he was caught up as even younger. So let's first let the people know where you from, where you grew up at. You know what I'm saying? That neighborhood, not talking about no gang or nothing, just the neighborhood you grew up in, the area, the section, you know what I'm saying?
I'm from Pasadena, California. I grew up over there pretty much during my youth. I'm a native, like I said, of California. I went down at 17, so it's a lot that I want to express and share and like open up with you guys and talk about.
Okay, so you at 17, right before we get to you getting caught up, let's lead to the background so people can better understand it. So did you grow up in a two-parent home?
No, I grew up with a single mother. My father was incarcerated most of my life. He's from HRA gangsters, so he was doing like
Okay,
a lot of like street stuff.
right.
I grew up all over California from Watts. I grew up in the Pueblos. I grew up in the Hoovers. I grew up pretty much in group homes, foster homes, placements. That's all I knew was the system.
Okay, so let's see. That's something that I want to get into. Jungle Boy TV. Salute to the live. What up, though? Salute everybody just coming in. Hit the like button. We got a special guest in here. So you moving around a lot. Not a lot of stability. Probably friends you grew up with, got close with. You moved somewhere else. Mom's a single mom. She doing the best she can. She your pops in the pen. So you figuring out? Did you have siblings? Were you the youngest, oldest?
The only child. I don't have no brothers, no sisters. I have stepbrothers now that my dad had over the years. But before Daniel Levon Harris, that was my only family member at the time. And she was 26 years old. Um, she passed away from HIV.
Oh man, and that was who?
My mother,
Oh wow! So your mom fell victim and passed away from HIV.
yeah,
And how old were you when she passed away?
I was 8 years old. She was raped in front of me by Crips. The PJ Watts kicked our door down. They put my mom on the counter. I'm walking into the room and they raping her. 5 dudes is gang raping my mom. They put a gun to my head and told me don't move. So that's where like the initiation of hating Crips started.
Right,
Um, that was like the first introduction into it.
right. So okay, you witnessed this happen. Your mom ended up contracting HIV somehow. She passed away. You're young. They immediately took you into child protective services. They took you to a group home, McLaren Hall. Where did they take you?
They took me to my uncle slash auntie. I have an uncle that's a transgender.
Okay,
He took me in, and once the school found out, I was living in Ontario at the time. Once they found out, they was like, "Oh no, get him out that house." So they moved me from there to a group home in San Bernardino called Acts for Children.
okay. Now, when you get to this group home, were the people that ran the group home, the staff, did they show you attention? Did they make sure you were fed? Did they push you to go to school? Did they try to help, fill the void that obviously you were starting to develop with? Did they even care, or were they basically just happy they was getting checks from the county to house you?
Yeah, mostly happy we getting checks. I tried to hang myself right after that. I was a
Oh,
mama's boy. I grew up like loving my mom, and once that detachment came, it made me not want to live. But most of the time, I was in the system. Like, I had a few people that did want to help as I went to different placements. But the original initiation was they didn't care. They just was worried about the money.
right. So at this time, like any child, you probably looking for that love, you looking for that security that your family is expected to provide, but based on the circumstances and the cards you were dealt, that wasn't the case. So now you're in the system, you're looking for love. What point did you turn to the streets looking for that love?
Well, when I was 10, my auntie Linda Carter, she got me. And the reason why she's significant into this conversation is because as I go further, you understand. But my auntie got me for about a year, but I was so bad. I wasn't a bad kid. I made bad decisions. And I wasn't real good with authority figures. So she put me back into the system to a group home called Holly Grove. Holly Grove moved me. I did so good there. I ended up getting 4.0 from 7th through 8th grade. I played basketball. I'm real good at sports. I played football, and they felt like, hey, you know what? You need to transition from a facility, which is like over like 300 kids was in this facility, and it was gated. So they moved me to Pasadena. I was in a group home called 5 Acres, Santa Rosa. Shout out to Pasadena, burned down. The shout out to all those that survived and the survivors of that community. But when I moved
Fact.
out there, I ended up going to Pasadena High School. And that's when I started to notice, like, whoa, it's a lot of bloods out here. I wasn't banging at the time. And I ended up speaking to a few of the dudes, got cool with them. But I was still on my basketball thing. Most people know me as Lil Iverson. That was my nickname that the streets gave me because I could play ball just like him. However, I tried out for varsity and I didn't get picked because I was too light. So I turned to the streets, like, you know what, forget basketball. And I started hanging with the PDLs, passing different lanes, Bloods. I started hanging
Now,
with them.
what did you see? What did you see? Real quick, apologies. What did
But
you see within the Pasadena Denver Lane Bloods that attracted you to them? Was it because you seen they was getting money? Was they showing you love, like loyalty? Like, look, bro, we got a place for you to stay. Don't worry about that. What was it that attracted you to specifically to those that were hanging out there in Pasadena?
the community, they had a lot of camaraderie. They ran together, they supported each other. They was getting money as well, but it was more of they had the hate. They had a certain hate that I vibed with at that time. I no longer feel that way, but during the time when I was a youth, I identified with that culture because I grew up already in the streets, seeing my dad sell dope before, watching the drug epidemic. So it was easier for me to embrace them, but when they embraced me, I felt love. I felt like I had a family. I had brothers, I had sisters, I had uncles, I had grandpas. So I love that family structure.
Well, that hey, bro, it was pretty much the same for me. I got a similar situation. So, at what point was it that you started getting caught up with the law to where you catch this case, and what led up to the case? Let's get to there, and then when you tell us how we got to the case, then you can take us through that night, how you got cracked, and all of that.
Okay, we started on a day I got down with a dude from out in the block crib in his hood, and I knocked him out in his set, and he ended up getting on the bus with us. So what ended up happening was he started calling the Squiggly Lanes. During 2003, Squiggly Lanes and out in the block crib was clicked up. So it was Bloods and Crips connected, and they hated the PDLs. So when I ended up going to school, he called it the Squigglies. At that time, I was making projects. So they projects is the main beef for Squiggly more than PDL is also, but it's more projects for Squiggly than anything. So he called the Squigglies and like, hey, bro, I need help. So they approached me at the school. I got on with one of them, and then when the projects found out it was all bad for the whole day, they was beating the Squigglies up in school, in class, in front of the teachers, chasing them out the school, took their chucks off, threw on top of the roof. They embraced me. So some of the G's there was like, hey, bro, let's call the big homies. You active. You real active, bro. We like your style. So they called the big homies. It was like, hey, after school, come over here, about to put this little nigga on. I'm like, cool, that's what's up. So at the end of the school day, I'm all pumped up. I got my black Dickie suit on, black chucks, black P hat, black flag. I'm like, yeah, it's game time. When they came, the group won't pull up. The group like, Carter, get us out the car. I'm like, hell no, I'm about to hang with the homies. They're like, no, little bro, just get in the car. When you get a chance, come to the hood. They didn't know how wild I was. I came that same day. I stole a bike from the group home. I rode down Fair Oaks, went to Jackie Robinson to get put on. The homies that was there was like, bro, we can't put you on. One was too big for me. The other one felt like the big homies wasn't there. And the other one said, I'm gonna knock the little ass out. So I'm not gonna put him on, excuse my language. So when that was done, I'm like, man, y'all weak. Like, bro, like, put me on. So I ended up going back to the group home and they called the police on me. That was my introduction to the law. So I got so mad, I started breaking their windows, flipping their couches, and they charged me with vandalism. So at 13 is when I went into the system. Next thing you know, I'm in court. I got my head down. One of the big G's from our set at the time, a little older than me, named Monster. Monster see me. He like, where you from? I'm from West Side PDL, Project Gangsters. He like, bro, you not from Projects. Stop claiming the hood. I'm like, oh crap, because this is a real one. So he know I'm not official. So he later on says, look, bro, when you go back, so when you go back to your unit, it's gonna be a tall dude there named Domingo. Go bang on them. So I'm thinking it's an enemy, so I'm like, for sure. So I go back, long story short, I bang on Domingo. He's from PDL Fair Oaks. He liked me. I was getting out the Broadways. I was getting out the Hoovers. Whoever came in there that was beefing with PDL or LA Lanes, I'm tripping. So he like, bro, I'm gonna put you on right now. So we won't be going to sale, we get down. He like, you my little homie now, you Junior Red Flag. I'm like, all right, he like, that's gonna be your nickname now. Junior Red Flag, you my dudes. He like, don't let nobody put you on, bro, because you gotta get put on the hood. Ain't no hall put ons. But for now, you from the set. So I'm like, all right, cool. I ended up going to a group home in Lancaster, and within the first week, I got my clothes, run away. So that's when I got into the streets. But
Oh
I
yeah, they
didn't know.
give you the clothes pass, so they don't know what you talking about. I know what you talking about. They give you little clothes vouchers where the group homes are responsible to clothes and feed you. So now you get a little voucher or something, so they take you to go get your clothes. So all you waited for was enough clothes so that you could hit the road, right?
Yes, but little do I know, I'm not born and raised in Pasadena, nor do I have family out there. So when I get out there, I got nowhere to sleep. So I'm just in the hood, and half of the people don't know me. That's really, really in the trenches of the game. So I'm sleeping on couches that I found in the back of apartments. I'm sleeping on benches. And so I ran into some of the homies that went to school with me. They're like, bro, come live with us. Bro, like, you good, Mommy G Mike. Make come stay over here. Mommy Trey, come stay over here. So I'm living with them for a little while, go back to jail within 2 weeks. So it become a repetitive cycle. So every 2 or 3 months, I'm back and forth in jail. They finally got tired of me, send me to Camp Rocky. I get out, do the same thing, go back. This time they put me in Cleopatra. I start running track there, but I'm turned up. I'm still heavily influenced from the gang culture. So I survived that. Ended up going to another group home that was in Lancaster. I ended up wearing all blue one day because they put me in a Crip group home. I was the only blood in the whole group home. So the dude wasn't really tripping that I've been, we ain't got no clothes for you, but here it is. So I put on all blue, blue Dickies, blue corduroy house shoes, blue hoodie. And I'm like, I got too much blue on. So I go to the Target and I buy some red bandanas. I put them on my neck. I'm fake banging. I'm in the middle of Lancaster with no gun and red bandanas. Next thing you know, the Crips put up on me. Hopped on, broke my jaw. They
Mm.
break it. I go to the group home. They're like, what happened? I'm like, oh, I slipped in the shower, broke my jaw, all this stuff. Next thing you know, they like, you gotta leave. You can't be here because you're bringing that gang stuff here. So I jump up the car when they trying to take me to go see my probation officer. I jump out, run back to my hood. Within like the first month, I cut the wires off. I ended up being in the set for about good 3 months, not getting caught. And I didn't get a phone. I ended up getting a phone call out of nowhere, and it was my auntie and my grandma. Like, hey,
On
we
your
found you
father's side or your mother's side?
on my father's side
Okay.
because one of my aunties ran to a female from PDL, and she was saying my name, and she said my real name. She said, that's my nephew, and they exchanged numbers, and that's how they caught up to me. By the grace of God, I ended up moving in the mansion with my uncle named Kenneth Hogan. Real estate agent, a lot of money. So I'm rich at the time. I'm going to South Hills High School in West Covina. I'm running track there. I got 3.6 GPA. I'm getting scholarship offers. So I had the opportunity to change my life when I was 17. But I was so loyal to my set that I used to go back to the hood and give the homies $500. Bro, here, take this. They come to the mansion like, bro, why are you coming to the hood? You live in the mansion. I'm like, bro, I love y'all. I just met these people. I've been knowing y'all most of my life. I'm not gonna turn my back on y'all because I got money now. They're like, bro, you need to change, bro. And they tried to push me away, and I just got more wilder. So I ended up wearing red a lot. And my uncle checked my closet. He find red laces, red Dickies, red shirts. He like, I got kids here. They 5'17". You can't be here. Like, you gotta get out of my house. So he keep me out to the streets. And then I ended up buying a gun. Once I get the gun, I'm clacking. I'm clacking all over Southern California. And I ended up on this particular day, it was Mother's Day. I'm sitting there. I'm watching my homies pass out flowers to their mom, their girlfriends and stuff, and I'm sitting there watching, and like a steam and a flame starts to ignite in my stomach, and I'm starting to cry because I'm seeing I don't got no mom, and it's Mother's Day, and a day before Mother's Day, and I see this guy walking down the street with his homie. They had on blue chucks, blue dickies, white tees. I had on orange dickies, blue Vans, and a blue shirt. So I thought they was Crips. So I take the gun out, bang on them first. Where you from? It's broad daylight. They take off running. They don't say nothing. So I'm like, oh, this is Crips. I got one. So I ended up getting in the car, driving down looking for him. When I find him, I jump out, shoot one, boom. When he fall, I run up to Damu. The gun jam. I run back to the hood, get away that day. But now my homies are starting to put bodies on me. Bodies that I didn't do. Now I'm like, bro, I didn't kill
Don't
him.
sound like no real homies to me, but go ahead.
Like my name started getting associated with people that just died from outside the block. I'm like, bro, I'm not one of them dudes that's gonna claim a murder or portray something I didn't do. So I didn't do it, bro. Stop saying I did it. So I'm like, I'm getting too hot out here. I call my auntie, the one Linda Carter, the one I told you about in the beginning. I'm like, auntie, look, I've been messing up. I'm hot out here. I need to get up out of here. I'm hot. I just did a shooting. I gotta go. I'm not knowing, bro, that she gonna call the police. So she calls the police and tells them that was there a shooting out Pasadena recently. They said, yeah. I think it's my nephew. So they set me up. She gets me in the car with her. I'm driving with her. I'm in the passenger seat. She takes me past Fair Oaks. Next thing you know, she swerves the car like jerk you, like boom, and jerk you back. Now look, I hear they surround me. And the first thing they do, they take her out the car, put her in handcuffs. They're like, your auntie's going to jail for attempted murder. I'm like, what? I felt like Mozzie. I'm going to say the gun mine before I say it's ours. So I said that
Right.
thing by myself. I don't got no crimees. I don't got nobody. It's just me. So they're like, all right, they take me in. I'm not knowing that once I drove off, it was a setup. So they took her out of cuffs. The whole thing was to make it seem like she was getting arrested. And the whole time she wasn't. So I get in the precinct, I tell my little story. I did it by myself, jumped in the car with myself, and all this stuff. On my mind, I'm prepared for YA. I'm going to the Y, I'm not tripping. It is what it is. I'll do juvenile life. Next thing you know, my co-defendant, he gets arrested. When he gets arrested, he's talking to the police about SOM Day. That means sock out Mexicans. He gets arrested for that. And the person in the interview that was interviewing him says, I positively identify, the Mexican positively identifies you as being the person who assaulted him. In the middle of the tape, he go, Iverson just done a shot. Iverson did this. And they like, Iverson? He said he had no crimes. I was in the car with him, me, Tiny Black, and he started naming other
Told on
crimes.
himself. He told on himself and told on Tiny Black.
And told Tiny Black. So now I'm in juvenile hall. I buy me a cell phone. I'm getting more tattoos, turning up, banging on shit. Shit makes my language, doing my stuff. You feel me? Like most kids do. I end up losing my fitness. I come to find out when I have the fitness hearing that they say, yeah, his person that told is the guy, Cameron Kinney. And I'm like, that's my celly. He didn't tell me he was in jail for that.
Right.
So they knew I was gonna snap on them. So they ended up sending me, they crossed me over from juvenile hall. I went to sleep in juvie, went to sleep in the county. So I woke up in juvie, went to sleep in the county. So they put me in the cell with a Mexican named Solo Gun from EMF. Now when I walk in,
Monte Flores.
yeah, he all the Southsiders jump up. There's no blacks in there. I'm not knowing. I'm fresh from juvenile hall. I didn't know you're not supposed to walk into a cell with all Mexican Southsiders. I didn't know that. So when they jump up, he looks at my face and he can tell I'm a kid. So he's like, "Hey, y'all sit down. Hey, what's your name?" Like I'm Red Flag, West Side PDL. He like, "All right." He like, "Where you come from?" I'm like, "Juvenile hall." He like, "When?" I'm like, "Right now." He like, "Nah, you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." He like, "You got the top bunk." So I get on the top bunk. None of the blacks come by that day or the next 2 days. So I ended up getting out, coming out to go to the showers. I'm walking to the showers. I'm not knowing that I just walked to the all south side of the shower. So when I walk in there, the south siders look, the door shut. I'm like, whoa. So they give me that look like they tripping. So look, I'm like, please, please, leave him alone. He just came out of juvenile hall. He don't know no better. They're like, oh, okay, fool. Hey, go ahead in the shower. I put my cheeks against the wall. I was scared. I'm like, hell no. I mean, we're all Southsiders. I'm not taking no shower. So I ended up coming out the shower and I'm going to seal. That was the last straw for Solo Gun. He called the blacks. Hey, man, y'all got somebody down here. Why haven't y'all checked on them? So they come down there. They're like, oh, what's your name? I'm like, Red Flag PDL. Like, oh, you can't be here, bro. You got to get out the cell. So they ended up moving me to the top stairs in Able Road and Baker Road in 3500. So I ended up going to Supermax, doing my stuff at Supermax, getting my name out there, busting on stuff, doing the gangbang stuff. I ended up going to court and my trial, they brought up all the juvenile fights I had, the county jail fights I had, the riot I had in the county, and they started talking about, look, this guy is an active gang member. Plus, he did this crime, and they ended up using Cameron Kinney's statement. He kept saying, I plead the fifth, and that you guys forced me to be on stand. I don't want to be here. And every time they asked him a question about what he said, he kept saying, I don't know. I don't remember, I was high. But they still use it as credible evidence. The guy that I shot, he didn't tell on me. Like, he didn't say I did it. He tried to keep it gangster and stay away from it. So shout out to him for helping, trying to help, I appreciate him for that. But I ended up losing my case and they ended up sentencing me to 40 years to life. Now, back in 2008, everything was considered mandatory. They don't do that now. But back in '08, if you got sentenced, let's say, to attempted murder, but the case is really assault with a deadly weapon, what they would do is they would say, we're going to stay, which means hold the assault and give you the highest time they can give you. So they gave me 15 to life for attempted murder, and then they gave me another 25 to life on top of that for being a gang member in the commission of a crime. So my first prison they sent me to
Gang enhancement.
gang enhancement.
So real
And
quick,
then,
let me make sure I explain so everybody following you. So he was a juvenile. He had a fitness hearing. A fitness hearing determines whether or not you're mentally sophisticated enough. If you're over the age of 17, 16 or 17, if your mind is sophisticated enough to be held fully accountable and tried as an adult. He lost his fitness at 17. They take him to the county jail. He woke up in juvenile hall, went to sleep in the LA County jail. Now, he done went to court. His cellie told on him, right? And he didn't even know he was in there on the same case with him because he kept it gangsta off the top and just was riding the beef out and keeping his mouth closed. But I guess this dude implicated himself and then implicated him. And he ends up getting convicted. We do got the paperwork, and we'll get into that. And but I just wanted to make sure y'all was up legally on what was going on. So now they sentence you to 15 years to life. You go to reception. Where you go? Delano, Wasco,
Delano.
Delano. So you get to Delano. What's going through your mind? You like, man, I know I was going to the pen for this. I already accepted that. But when you get there, was it gangbang activity? Was you still active? Was you banging at that point? What was going on when you get to reception?
So my mind frame now is I want my name to ring. So I already developed the mindset of I got a life sentence. I'm about to bang so everybody know my name. What ended up happening was within the first 2 weeks, I ended up having a dream. My son was Lil Rue from LA Lanes. I'm like, bro, we had to ride with the Northerners. He like, no, we didn't. I'm like, I seen him in my dream. Literally the next day, we go to Chow. It's a guy from San Francisco there who I guess he did something to the North A's a long time ago. So what ended up happening is he takes off on them in a full blown riot, half kicks off. I'm in the cell. I'm not knowing this is going on. When I look out here, brrr, I look out my window, it's Southside is fighting. Lil Rube, which was my cellie, was the trustee at the time. So my door opened. They open it, I open the door, I run down, they throw me a burner, I bust. Boom. They start shooting. Next thing you know, they like, how'd you get involved? It was 30 on 5. So it was 30 Mexicans on 5 black. So they like, how did you get out your cell? And I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't walking too fast, I guess. They're like, okay, Pelican Bay. So I was only reception for a month. But about a month, maybe 2 months, the Northers put a hit on me. At the time, they said, hey, get him, give us who was busing, or it's gonna keep happening. I ended up getting sent to Pelican Bay after that. And I was about 19, 20, going to Pelican Bay. And when I was that bus ride was 16 hours shackled. So for 16 hours, we sat on the bus from Delano to Crescent City. That's at the top of California. So when I get in there, I find out my dad is there.
You
And my dad
19, 20 years old at the time, arriving to Pelican Bay. You get to the prison yard, and your dad from A-Tray Gangster, who's been in jail, in and out of jail most of your life, and hasn't really been in your life, he there. So go ahead.
So I asked the Bloods, hey, is it okay I sit with my dad? They're like, that's your dad? I'm like, yeah. They're like, all right. So they want to check, make sure that I'm not just trying to get into the crib. They checked everything, checked out. Matt Mo gave the blessings. Matt Mo from LA Lane said, it's okay, bro.
Shout out
Yes,
to
he
home.
gave free him soon. He gave the blessing when he going to sell my dad. So when I go in to sell my pops, the first thing I do is I peel out. What's happening? I need that fade. Let's run that. We're going to program. And my dad is looking at me like, you my son. I'm like, but you ain't been there my whole life. Like, I don't know you, bro. My mom was raped, bro. You wasn't there. And I put a lot of the weight on his shoulders that I was feeling for the resentment of not having a father figure growing up. He didn't want to fight, not because he was scared, nothing like that, but because I'm his son. So he's like, hey, sit down, let's talk. So we started to talk, and he made it make sense. Because he's like, now you're part of this lifestyle, son. You gangbang now. So imagine me your age, what you think about your kids and what you out there in the streets. I don't have kids, but that lifestyle I understood. I'll always seek to first understand someone else's point of view before my own, because I'm not always right. So I heard my father out. We ended up trying to mend our relationship. We ended up having a fallout about 2 years after being in the cell with him, because I was trying to explain to him about getting a high school diploma or a GED, because a GED now is equivalent to an A degree. A degree is now a high school diploma. It's not like back in the day, you got a high school diploma, you good. So I tried to explain it to my father, and he didn't want to hear it. So I had to move out the cell with him, going to cell with homie for Power Rule, and he's young. So I just started tearing the yards up, DPing people, participating in anything that was on the yard. I raised my hand. Who needs to get jumped? Who needs to get a head up? Whoever, I'm signing up. I'm signing up. I ended up going to the shoe, Pelican Bay shoe, for knocking out one of the homies on the yard because he didn't participate in the removal of somebody. And the homies called my name. Hey, bro, remove him. I'm like, I got you, but don't trip. So I ended up removing him, knocked him out one hit. That became a higher, it went from a mutual combat to an assault on an inmate. So back in Pelican Bay during the early 2000s, they had a thing called indeterminate shoot, which means that you can get your shoot time. Let's say they give you a year in the shoot. You will do that year, and at the end of that year, you do extra years on the fact that you're a danger to the prison. And they want to make sure before they release you back into their prison that you're mentally able to deal with where you're at. It's not about violence, although we think prison is, but it's about, rehabilitation, and they want you to focus on that. So I did 3 years in Pelican Bay shoot. Met some Southsiders, some Mexican mafias, some OG Kiwe, that's Blue Note, CCOs, some UBNs, and they were structured. They were just telling me like, how to run a program, how to be in a cell almost 23 hours, 22 hours a day, and be able to maintain your sanity by picking up books, by reading, by working out, by finding things constructive to do with your time. So I developed that.
Is this the most structure that you ever had? Because usually, see, a lot of women don't understand what a man is supposed to bring into a relationship or as a father. And the number one thing is structure, right? So that a person understands how he needs to accomplish goals, how to be organized, the power of unity, all of these different things. Was that the first time in your life that you had that kind of structure and learned that?
Yes, and it was a blessing. Um, Although it was not fortunate situations for being us all being in jail, but that's the first time I saw what real men were. Um, they were able to talk to me, express fatherhood, express how to conduct yourself, how to be treated as a man, how to view yourself as a man outside of the game. So that was the first time I was able to see what a man is without gang member being attached. They detached that from me by showing me you stand on your own 2 feet, create your own identity. And they emphasize identity on me, saying to not follow others, be able to stand on your word. Whatever you say, make sure you can stand by it. Don't let nobody punk you, tell you what to do. Don't be a torpedo for nobody. Um, get educated. They emphasize education on me. Make sure you stay in school because rehabilitation, how do they measure it? They measure it by education. That's how they measure your rehabilitation. So with that, I took that strongly into my heart, and now I started to pick up books from George Jackson,
Blood in my
Solid.
eye or Solidad Brothers?
Yes, pick that
Both
up.
of them, or which one? You read both of them, or
I read the Solid Brothers,
okay,
and the way he wrote was so eloquent, and it blew my mind. His vocab. His
right,
vocab was immense. So it made me want to pick the dictionary up, start learning how to speak, use certain words to express myself more than cuss words or sounding ignorant. So I went from that to reading Marcus Garvey to reading Stolen Legacy. Then I went from that to reading English books, Psychology 101, The Female Brain, Childhood Development, the list can go on. One of the latest books I read was Nipsey Hussle's Marathon Continues. The marathon don't stop. I started reading of Steve Jobs. So I started picking up books to give me a different understanding from a different demographic, although I'm not physically present with them.
right.
So from there, I ended up doing pretty good. I did 9 years at Pelican Bay.
In the
After I do
shoe
that,
program?
I did 3 years in the shoe, got out, and did a couple years clean. And they sent me to the 270, which is my first 270 with Sanella. So
Okay.
I get down there. It's a lot of my homies there. That was the first time I ran back into PDLs. Because the whole time I was up in Pelican Bay, it was no PDLs there. So I thought my homies forgot about me. So I had like a little resentment towards a lot of them because I'm like, bro, y'all didn't write me. Y'all didn't do nothing. Put no money in my books. Like, forget y'all. And I ended up landing in the cell with a guy named D Food, Donnie Food. I love Big Bro and Big Lowdown. And they expressed to me, did you reach out? I'm like, whoa, nah. So how did they forget about you if you never reached out yourself? Your name was Iverson. Nobody knew your name was Derrick Carter. Your name was Red Flag. Nobody knew your name, bro. So how can you say the homies forgot about you? And I'm like, wow, it made sense. So I started reaching out to the homies again and developed a stronger bond. I ended up running into a guy named Palmer, Nunu, um, Gator, L. It was a lot of homies there that was rest in peace to the homie DeAndre Mills. Rest in peace to the homie Devil Boy. But we was all together and we started to mend our relationships. But in the process, I changed. I was still active. I was still laying the yard down, still doing removals, but I started going to church. I started going to church more. I started to go to college. I took Criminal Gang Anonymous, Anger Management, NAAA. I took Life Without a Crutch. I did this thing called Mothers with a Message, where it dealt with women who had their child killed by gang violence or harmed by gang violence. And I started to give back to the community through that. Some of the Mexican mafia, such as Turtle. Turtle taught me how to write the warden, as well as how to advocate for change, as well as how to advocate to bring programs to the prison. So I learned that from Turtle, um, as well as a guy on Instagram named Integrity First. He has a lot of wisdom that he taught me as well. So I started to get more towards giving back, philanthropy, and just learning how to be a better man. So I was having pushback. I remember one situation with my homie Tiny Buntry from Eaglewood Families was on the yard, and bro got into with the Crips inside of visiting, and he went to stab one of them. So we on the yard, and I come out from church, I got my Bible in my hand, and I'm like, bro, he had like a look on his face, like he was upset. I'm like, bro, you good? He like, no, bro, like the homies went in on me. What you mean went in on me? Like they left. They all went inside. It's all Crips on the yard. So I'm like, bro, what you about to do? He like, well, I'm about to bust on this Kiwe. I'm like, bro, where's the homies at? He's like, they're not out here. I said, damn, I gotta stay with you. He like, no, go inside. I said, bro, I can't. Once you told me what you was gonna do as being the blood, I have to stand by you, win, lose, or draw. And he's like, wow, all right, bro. And I'm fresh out of church. So I'm like, Satan is working. So the guy went to stab, so becomes is actually one of my enemies. Well, enemy hoods from Duroc, named Stay Ready. So I'm like, whoa, Satan's really working. So it's about 8 Durocs on the yard. One of them I got down with in juvenile hall. I ended up saving his life in a county jail. He was in a tank, me, my co-defendant Tiny Black, and one of my other homies the Pasadena Street was walking on a tier. We bang on him, we say he's from Duroc. He's by himself. We all got knives. The homie about to go bust him. Like, nah, bro, that's stupid. That's one black man in a cell by himself. That's not gangster. Now if it was 5
Right.
of them, that's active. But one
Right.
of them by himself, 3 of us with knives, we gonna catch a murder and we locked in where we going. That's stupid, bro. So I ended up giving him a pass and look how God works. So in this particular situation with Stay Ready, he's walking by. The homie ready to bust. Like, hold on, bro, don't bust. Let me holler at him. So I go talk to him. I'm like, hey, bro, is it true you was cousin the homie? He's like, nah, bro, I was talking to my girl. She made me mad. I kept cussing her. Now the homie has a big B hand on the side of his whole side of his face is the blood hand, and it say warrior. So he felt that he shouldn't be cousin in his presence, which
Yeah,
makes no sense.
that's too extra out. And you can't tell somebody how to talk unless he talking to you specifically. But go ahead.
So he ended up telling me he was on to his girl. So I was like, oh, that's it? Come over here, bro. Let's talk. So we all going with the keyways and just me and Damu homie. And the homie Nunu was out there for PDL. He actually came out when he see me. Nunu come out. Nunu ready to trip. Nunu don't care about nothing. He like, bro, forget the talking. Let's turn his yard up. I'm like, nah, bro. I'm about to talk to this guy about what's going on. So I asked him, like, explain to him what you explained to me. Oh, cuz on Do Rock Crip. I'm like, no, 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 no. We don't have to do all that, bro. The way you was talking to me was respectfully. Keep the same energy. Just because your homie standing here, and then the guy from Do Rock that I got out with told him, hey, bro, Flag's one of the real ones. Listen to what he got to say. So he started talking to the homie Tiny Buntry, explaining I was talking to my girl. Everything stopped. Buntry like, oh, my bad, bro. Everything was squashed. So people was looking at that like, you supposed to turn up. I'm like, bro, when you get a certain age, you must begin to see fourfold, which means 4 steps ahead. The good, the bad, and what can go wrong. Just because it seems right at the time to do doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So I could have got myself in trouble, the homie in trouble, and the Bloods, period, in the wreck after we crashed them. We go to the hole. Now the Keyways rushed all the Bloods. Obviously, if they didn't help you in the beginning, they felt that this matter wasn't significant enough for them to want to lose and jeopardize what they got going on. So people start to look at me strange a little bit like, bro, you slowing down. But yet I'm still laying the yards down, but I'm picking and choosing what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do. So my last fight in Sinella, one of my little homies, um, he ended up Marquise ended up getting into it with the police for letting him go in the cell to get tatted. The homies wanted him bust on. They know I'll be busting on stuff. So I tell them like, no, bro, he from the same hood as us. This is his first time in jail. Take him to see him get out with him. They're like, no, bro, he got to get removed. So I'm like, all right, bro, I'm not doing nothing. They're like, what you mean not doing nothing? Like I told you, bro, I'm not doing it. So they called him LA Lanes for the basketball court. He go home in 30 days. He's la 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 la. Come over there, finds out he's about to go on a mission. I'm like, no, bro, go back to the yard to play basketball. I'm a DP the homies, but I'm not fucking with y'all no more. Excuse my language. So I DP the homie. I go in the cell. I start, from that point forward, I start doing good. I ended up moving from Sidnella to Kern Valley. I was in Kern Valley, so I'm moving
BR,
around.
AR,
I
where
get to
you was
Kern
at in
Valley.
Kern Valley.
I was on BR and B2.
Okay.
So at that time, Big Stupid from PDL, that was my celly. And that's when I really started to get into Nipsey Hussle and listen to his music and digesting this man's message. I saw past the Crip stuff because I started understanding that not all Crips break my mom. So
Right.
over the years, I started meeting Crips that was hella cool. Gave me food, but I didn't have canteen, back to back in riots, stood up for me against some of my homies, and was actually good people.
Right.
So it desensitized me from hating them. So I covered up my CK, covered up my out to the block Crips, every hood, Raymond Avenue, everybody had crossed out. I covered it up because I'm like, that's fake. If I'm on the
You're
yard
starting to
shaking their
evolve mentally. Not age.
yeah,
Fuck age. You got people 50 years old that still think and behave like they were 16. I'm talking about, but mentally, you started to have experiences that made you mentally evolve. You listening to Nipsey Hussle, you see his mental evolution, and it's starting to resonate with you, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
And I went from that to paying attention to his business moves. And when COVID hit, right before COVID, my mom's birthday is October 25th. So I decide to write the warden and I put a memorandum together asking him, can I create a breast cancer awareness marathon? So the judge is like, the warden's like, no, go ahead. If you can make this happen, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but if you can get everybody in the yard to donate money, I want to see this. I ended up raising $2,000 from the inmates on the yard. For every lap you run, you pay $5 towards breast cancer. So I raised $2,000. So it was 2,000 laps ran, um, and it was a
Going
marathon.
back to when
And I
you
did that.
ran track, right? At
Yeah,
Kilpatrick.
yes,
Right.
yes. Kilpatrick in South Hills, and,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it was like um a a piece of nip marathon of doing that, and then COVID hit. When COVID hit, I was in a prison project with
You
Fritzy
get
Horseman.
hold on one second.
She
We get bad reception, right?
okay.
So let's make sure that we got everything going. Before we do that, we gonna do this super chat. Rio Shabazz L with a 1999 super chat. MA Peace. Then you got the Star David Israelite, and then you got the crescent and the star for Islam. Hey, salute to you, brother. Everything donated to the Damu Kiwe conversations is appreciated. And we here with the brother, man. Very compelling story, very accurate. He's very detailed. So, Tru Wolve, let's get back to this. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, I can hear you
yes.
better now. If we get messed up, I'll tell you to just go back out, and then when you come back in, hopefully it'll catch a better way. But go ahead. I hate to interrupt you. You was really building. Go ahead, King. You was talking about the
So
marathon, and then you were go ahead.
I ended up joining the Compassion Prison Project with Fritzy Horstman. She found out that I was doing the breast cancer awareness. Now I'm not knowing that she was going to write Susan Giacomi Foundation. She writes them, and they end up bringing the founder there, one of the presidents there, and allowed me to personally hand a check to them. I was so caught off guard that I'm so happy I brought my celly with me. Like Nip said, when I go to a line, I bring my crew to the line. So to show my homie who is still deep involved with gangs that hey, bro, there's another way. So he got a chance to experience being able to be around corporate people despite where we come from. So the Compassion Prison Project fell in love with me and they started getting behind me to work with me. COVID hits, they start doing the COVID funding where in prison you was able to write and get like $2,000 towards surviving in prison. That's giving us checks. So instead of me buying drugs or buying phones, I just started my own company called All Wolves. Um, it's a brand that I built. I started to build up from the word wolf, which in Pasadena we use that as fighting. Um, as you're instead of saying the N word, we say wolf. Instead of saying blood, we say wolf. We use wolf as a place to eat. It's a pack. It's a community. It's supportive. So the terminology wolf, I wanted to brand it. So I put all wolf, all coming from Nipsey Hussle, all money in. So I combined them two words and created my clothing line. It's about to be revamped. So pretty soon, please be looking out for that. Um, so dealing with them people, they kept me focused. I ended up doing so good in Kern Valley that they sent me to Lancaster 3 yard, which is an honor yard. That was the first time I was able to experience college professors because they would come to the prison. And I was taking psychology 101, mathematics 101, political science 101, as well as English 101 for my prerequisites. So I'm feeling the college scene. I start taking more groups such as relapse prevention, how to plan for if you have a situation where, let's say, you get kicked out or you get strung out on drugs. What do you have in place to keep you from falling back into recidivism? So I'm doing that, enjoying the experience of how it is to become a citizen in America, a civilian. Because my whole life I was taking things to people, stealing, robbing, selling drugs, fighting, gang banging that I took, and I kept taking and taking and taking, and that's wrong. But as a child, I didn't understand what I was doing. As a man, I put the childish behaviors aside. So I did good there. Ended up moving to Smiths Valley. After I got into a fight with a guy. He was, trying to basically test me because of who I am now. And a changed person and believing in God. I'm giving my soul to God and Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. So I started to run into fights towards the end of my incarceration a lot. I ended up smoking some spice, which is not a good drug to smoke. And on the blood yard, since it's inside of New Folsom, you can't do that. It's a no drug policy. So when I come out, I get my first DP in 19 years by Baby Braids from LA Lanes and from Miller's named GB. So they DP me.
Hey,
And
wait. So you got DP by both of the dudes that's on the Who's Who
yeah,
podcast? So
yeah.
they two on ones you?
Yeah, I did my stuff though. The big homie headache. He called the hood and was like, Flag did his stuff, but they did that. But I needed it because in reality, they was trying to prevent me from falling into that epidemic because I was getting denied in court left and right. I'll file law, they deny it. I filed the Hurd case, they denied it. I filed the SB 77, they denied it. So I started to get kind of shaking a little bit, not off my pivot, but I started to feel like I'm never gonna go home. And the more I stayed on them 4 yards, the more situations came. So my last situation, I ended up removing 2 snitches. They landed on the yard. They couldn't be there. One dude, I
Hey,
knocked him
let me ask
unconscious.
you this, because about that. So you removed 2 snitches, because there's a whole lot going on online where you got like some Southsider YouTubers. Some of them are dropouts. They're not even Southsiders, so that they don't even make the cut. But they say that blacks don't check paperwork in the penitentiary and all that. They push this false narrative. How are you rolling up 2 snitches if blacks don't check paperwork?
Well, some blacks don't, but the Bloods do. The Bloods are like, we're very structured in prison. We're very militant. Um, they ask for bed charge. They ask for 128s. They ask for everything. They want to make sure they want to see what you was in jail for, why. So they do check paperwork. And I end up landing in the cell with a guy. I want to put his name out there because he's in the middle of something important of his freedom. So I'm gonna leave that at that. But he ended up finding some information, not on purpose, because he's a legal beagle. All he do is study. And he ended up studying law and found this guy case. It was like, because he reads everybody's stuff, make sure that you're legit. And it comes to a point where he's in our backyard. He's in the back of PDL, the person that's telling. So
Right.
according to the laws of prison, when it's your backyard, I mean, clean it. Clean your backyard up. So we end up doing it. The dude ended up getting his eye socket broken, like pushed back. Um, and now the judge ends up, on my case, accepting my AB 600, which is a law that, please, if you have people that's incarcerated in California, please have them use this law. It's retroactive. That's one thing I ask that you guys, when you go to sign laws in to affect for us, the AB 600 is retroactive. But pay attention to the word retroactive because that applies to those that's been incarcerated 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. But when you just sign a bill thinking that, oh, gun enhancement, we're going to take the gun away, but you don't read the fine print. It doesn't say retroactive. That means it doesn't apply for us. It applies for everyone that's getting incarcerated from this day forward. And this is why you see recidivism at a high rate is because the guys now aren't getting that time that we were getting. So they haven't sat down long enough, not saying that they need to sit down long enough, but they don't understand the fact of losing your life. Now, my case get picked up. So I ended up going to the county jail for 6 months. The judge asked for my C file to see what I was doing while I was incarcerated. He said that I see that you have a lot of rehabilitation. You was going to college, you have a lot of certificates under your belt, but I want to see the negative. I've been hearing all the good. What's the negative? Now, the DA, Martin Bean, he goes to my C file and he picks these 2 incidents, the 2 snitches removal. He picks those and he's advocating for me to stay incarcerated. And he's telling the judge, this man is still violent. He's still an active gang member. And I tried to explain to the DA that although this is your job, the streets and prison is 2 different things. On the streets, you can get called a bitch, excuse my language, and walk away and have no repercussions. In prison, you're gonna lose your food, your booty, maybe, um you're basically the low of the low
Right.
because you don't have nothing to stand on. So you're forced to do that. Needs to say you will get jumped by your own homies for allowing stuff to happen around you and you don't participate. So I'm
Right.
trying to explain to the judge and to the DA to please stop using prison as a way to prevent people from going home. Rehabilitation can only be demonstrated once you're released. You can do everything that you want to do while you're incarcerated, but the only way that you're going to find out if a person is truly rehabilitated, you have to allow them to be reintegrated into society. So the DA, he fought a good battle. He brought the fights up. However, the judge saw that I truly changed and that I did a lot of rehabilitation when I was incarcerated, not just to go home, but for myself. For
Right.
5 years, he was denying me. And he said, "You never gave up. You never quit going to the law library. You kept studying law until you found the law to bring you home." And my lawyer, Miss Emily Rosenfeld, was a trooper. She fought tooth and nail to get me where I am now. So I'm home now and I'm in a halfway house. I was court ordered here, but I also chose to come here because it puts you on your feet. It's more better for a person coming out of prison to go into a halfway house despite having family. And the reason why is you do not want to be a burden on your family upon being released. You don't want them to drive you everywhere, although they would do it. But needless to say, that's not their job. It's your job as a man to find out how to get Social Security, how to get a health insurance, how to get your ID. This place offers this, as well as it keeps the structure of how to maintain the mindset of going to classes, going to groups, and staying with that relapse prevention program so that you remain um, on the streets because the streets are wide open. They're deadly. You're forgotten about. People don't know you. It's youngsters out here that I hope I can save them, if just one, but to show them that there's a better path than being a gang member and being high. They're suffering from pain. Their community is growing up with social media. Who has the flyest clothes, the biggest chain, and these rappers, nothing against them, this is what they're portraying. So the youth, as black males and people coming from the urban community, the first thing that we look to is our who we idolize are superstars, basketball players, football players, rappers, actors. We see them and we want what they have.
People with
Now,
monetary success. That's pretty much who people gravitate to and idealize. You know what I'm saying?
yes. So I'm here now and I'm actually doing this interview in my room inside of the halfway house. And I want to shout out to Do Sam for helping me and even reaching out to me. Our friendship goes back to when I was in jail, and it was a comment that one of my homies made that said, "Would you help your enemy if you saw them being jumped by somebody?" Now, me not knowing who this guy was, he's very educated, very positive, but he's the type of person that make you think. He won't just, I'm gonna go with the positive just to go with it. I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench at you to see if you truly mean what you say. So we started to have a debate on helping him. He took the opposition like a small debate. I'm not helping the enemy. Not meaning he wouldn't help. He was doing so to pick my brain because I said I would help one. If he's getting jumped by another race or something, I would help him. Now I'm not racist. I'm just for my people. I'm not against no one, but I do love my people. And we went from talking on comments to speaking inside of the DM, and that's when I got a chance to see how brilliant and a genius this man really is. And we've been talking about music and developing like a true bond towards owning companies and businesses and just moving towards um, black excellence. the upper echelons of life the legal way. So I appreciate him for allowing me to even come on today.
Well, it humbly that's what this platform is. I'm a host. Obviously, I had an idea of what we want, but this type of story, forget the content that goes viral. Everybody love the nigga shit that get too much spin. Every chance that I could find a brother who comes from the struggle, trying to do something positive, and I know that's his intent. I don't want you to have to pay me to get on here. I want to help contribute to you moving forward and continuing that evolution process, paying it forward. Hopefully, you don't owe me nothing, but hopefully, one day you're in that position and you do the same when you see somebody is really, you see the potential in them and that they really out for that. But let me let the people know a little bit about you because you spoke on it. So we're gonna get into that. But they loving you in the chat, bro. They empathizing with your trials and tribulations. And some of the homies in the chat is going with it. Even the big homies are talking about how inspiring you are. So if y'all pay attention, I went to my Facebook. It's a link. Compassion Prison Project posted. This was September 3rd, 2021. Action alert. Demand the release of Derrick Carter. Derrick Carter received a life sentence when he was only 17 years old. 15 years later, he's created an online STEM, which is science, technology, education, and math academic program for students who have fallen behind due to COVID-19. Despite imagine, wait. We gotta really highlight the mental tenacity, fortitude, and strength of somebody who was probably doomed from the beginning. The circumstances and cards that he was dealt put him at a loser hand. This is somebody who would not even through all the shit he went through as a kid, who would not accept defeat, not just physically, for his circumstances. At some point, he said, I'm going to demand better of myself. When you know better, you do better, right? And
Yeah,
he's in prison on a 270 state penitentiary yard, and COVID is y'all know about the COVID pandemic. So what he does is he creates an online STEM academic program for students who have fallen behind due to COVID. We need the link to that. Could you send that to my phone right
yeah.
now? You can. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna post that on my Instagram, all of my social medias, and I'll get my YouTubers to also do the same thing. And
There,
and hopefully those that have children in the chat from impoverished communities, California, obviously, and Vegas on the West Coast is our biggest fan base. But then New York is huge. Chicago, shout out Chicago and Detroit. The Midwest is huge now. We're growing. Texas, shout out to Texas. Shout out to Florida and Atlanta. Shout out to Jersey. All of the brothers that are parents and the sisters that are mothers that who children aren't hip to this. Let's get them ahead so they'll already have a closer to a level field against their rich counterparts and that don't come from inner city communities. But salute to you for having that tenacity and mental fortitude. I'm gonna finish the
okay,
part.
see me quick. Okay, NASA.
Oh, your phone,
Okay,
you went out, bro.
I was
Go
with to speak
ahead
on the
and
STEM
come back
education
on.
program. NASA took it down for now. Okay, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
NASA took it down. When I was in the cell, I wrote NASA. We're redoing it now. But NASA, I wrote NASA when I was in the cell because NASA's in the back of Pasadena, JPL. So I wrote them a letter and I asked them, how is it that you guys are in the back of Pasadena, but yet you guys aren't helping the community? No urban community is receiving any assistance from you guys. And they sent me their entire curriculum. The prison took it and told me, how did you get NASA to write you? So now that I'm home, everything's gonna be revamped because everything's from prison. So I'm revamping everything. I will make sure I get you the new link when we recreate it and redo everything, so it'll be more legit. Because that was like some put together type stuff. When I come in, I want to come correct. I want to come with my brand being professional, where it can be centered around urban youth, whether you black, Mexican, Asian, even white kids. They deserve it because it ain't about color. It's about demographics and where we grow up at. So that'll be coming to you soon. You will be in the loop on all that. It's going to be redone. Now that I'm out, I can physically go to NASA and finish doing what I was trying to do. It made me think about the stars. I was looking at the sky one day and I saw the moon. And I thought to myself, not every kid can play basketball. Not every kid is gifted in rap. Not every kid want to be movie stars. What about little Jim or little Mike that look up to the sky and say, Mommy, I want to see the moon. Or I want to go to the moon. I want to be with the stars. Why not offer a program inside of the community that deals with that? I'm trying to create something like a Vector 90 where kids can go and have a center to go to that deals with science and stars and planets, and give them that dedication to shoot to the stars, literally.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Let me finish the article real quick. So, despite his contributions to society from behind bars, Mr. Carter was recently denied resentencing, even though both the judge and the DA felt was merit in his case. The victim also wants him released. Your voice matters. Please take a moment to change the life of Derrick Carter. Copy and paste the letter below and email it to the DA, or print it out and send a copy to the LA District Attorney's Office. Don't forget to include your return address, and please share your own personal experiences and feelings about this topic. And then there's the letter that they wanted you to write, and then here's a picture of him and a picture of him as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Look at him, big ass head. But the Most High blessed you with a big head for a reason. There's a brain inside that big head, homie. You know what I'm saying? Even more than that, I believe that you are connected spiritually to the Most High. You gave us a story, and we're going to get into your case and break that down too, because now we're seeing the beginning of the success story. Just the beginning of the success story. But you were talking about uh you had a dream, but it wasn't a dream, it was really a vision. You were so in tune with the universe at that time that the vibrations sent these messages to you, forewarning you of a future damage. And the next day there was a riot against the northerners, the norths. So I know you don't know how to consciously tap into it. That's the mind. We were all made in the image of the Most High. You talking about, and I'm not talking about just gangbangers. I'm talking about our people, humelinated, carbonated beings, celestial beings, made in the image of God, from the temple of God, the temple of your mind, the ability to create. A lot of people get into religious debates about God, etc. But one thing for people, unless they're atheists and don't believe in God, all agree upon is that God is the creator. So our ability to create thought is how we can manifest our own reality. You've been manifesting this before it happened, and that's what got you here. You manifest survival before it happened by the desire, right? Those right now, if I was to punch you and you were right in front of me, it's not my hand moving by itself. It's atomic vibrations, atoms of thought that send messages to my arm. Flight that nigga. right? It's not, my hand doesn't move. So that same energy that's in there is being projected through your body. It can also be projected into the universe. You a very strong-willed brother, strong-minded brother. I look forward to building with you. So let's talk
Yeah.
about from where you came, right? I'm gonna pull up this case real quick, and I'll do some reading. You know what I'm saying? Um, Salute to everybody in the chat. If you just coming in, hit the like button, man. I'm loving the support y'all giving to this brother. He's in a halfway house and he's exuding all of this positivity, inspiration to the people. And I think forget our fan base, y'all kids need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all kids need to hear how messed up mentally and lost this brother was. You know what I'm saying? And to where he's at now. And he's still evolving. Life in itself is a lesson. I'm a student of life. And he obviously is a student of life and he's still learning. But, and we're human, we make mistakes. But this brother definitely seems to be on the right path. So let's get to this real quick. You have I got the word. The people plaintiff responded versus Derrick Dante Carter, inter alia defendants and appellants. So defendant Derrick Dante Carter was convicted of attempted premeditated murder, count 1, and assault with a firearm, count 2. 2, allegations that both offenses were committed for the benefit of a criminal street gang. This is a gang enhancement, right? As well as allegations that a principal personally discharged a firearm causing great bodily injury in connections with count 1, and that Carter personally used a firearm in connection with count 2 were found true. Carter was tried jointly with Richard Eugene Isham, who was acquitted of the attempted murder count, but convicted of assault with a firearm on an aiding and abetting theory, with a true finding on the gang enhancement. Both defendants appealed. They claim 1, prosecutorial misconduct in connection with the prosecutor's statement in closing that the defendants have no evidence to prove their innocence, right? Well, first and foremost, if y'all don't understand that argument, let me give y'all the sum. I know y'all heard this before. Under the judicial justice system in the United States, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, and the burden of proof is on the prosecutors to prove what you call it. Well, the prosecutor had, in their closing statement, said that tried to switch that burden of proof to jurors who might not necessarily understand the law, and made a statement that would make me that he had to prove his innocence. He had to provide evidence to prove his innocence, which under the law in the United States is totally illegal. He doesn't have to say nothing. He doesn't have to take the stand. He can be quiet the whole time. And if the prosecution never presented evidence to the jury that he was guilty within a reasonable doubt, then they would have to find him not guilty. They changed the burden of proof in their closing argument to the court and in front of the juries. Second, instruction on flight from the crime scene, Cal Crim number 372, contains a presumption of guilt that unconstitutionally lowers the prosecution's burden of proof. See what I'm saying? 3, the admission of the prior statements of an accomplice who testified but purported to remember nothing violated the defendant's Sixth Amendment confrontation rights. That's the right to confront all accusers. That's under the Crawford versus Washington federal law. The trial court aired and admitted evidence of attempts by third parties to intimidate the victim. In addition, Carter contends 5, the trial court aired and fell into instruct on attempted voluntary manslaughter as a lesser included offense of the attempted murder charge. 6, the minimum parole eligibility date for his attempted premeditated murder conviction should be reduced from 15 years to 7 years. And 7, he is entitled to 1 additional day of pre-sentence credit. Isham asserts the evidence was insufficient to support his conviction for assault with a firearm as an aider and abettor. The respondent, Carter, is entitled to an additional day of custody credit. We will so order, but affirm the judgment in other respects. So basically, on May 13, 2006, the day before Mother's Day, remember the brother was bearing his soul about how he felt inflamed and all of this rage because he seen people passing out flowers to their girlfriends and their mothers, and he's still dealing with it, hasn't been able to process and heal the loss of his mother. The trauma that he remembered when he was a young kid, when she was great, right? So
Yes.
that's just so y'all know how accurate and all of the things that played in his mind he described, and so you know his mentality. So Christian B drove Charles White to Charles White Park. Christian associated with 2 criminal street gangs, the Altadena Denverlanes and the Pasadena Denverlanes, who regularly congregate in the park. Both were blood gangs, and the park was considered blood territory. Defendants Isham and Carter, both of whom were members of the Pasadena Denverlanes, were at the park, as were Cedric Jolly and Cameron Kinney, who were members of the Altadena Denverlanes. Later that day, TS and RV, who were not gang members, were on their way to a party. One of them was wearing a blue shirt. As they walked through the park, someone yelled, "Sue woo!" or "swoop" or "sue woo," a phrase used by blood gang members to identify themselves. When TS and RV heard the yell, they began to run. According to King, the blood gang members thought the 2 boys were Crips because one was wearing blue, a color associated with Crip gangs, and because they ran when they heard the swoop yell. Jolly ran after the 2 boys, but returned to the park less than a minute later. Then defendants and Kenny got into Christian's car with defendant Isham in the driver's seat. And the 3 drove around looking for TS and RV. They found the 2 boys walking near the corner of El Sereno Avenue and Woodbury Road. Defendant Isham stopped the car and defendant Carter got out. Carter approached the 2 boys, asked, "Where you from, bud?" and punched TS in the face. TS and RV ran, but the car followed them and met them at the corner. Isham got out of the driver's seat and, according to RV, tripped TS, causing him to fall to the ground. TS himself said he simply slipped. After TS got up, defendant Carter shot him in the back, and the bullet lodged near TS's spine. After the shooting, Isham ran away. Carter got back in the car, and Kenny, who had moved to the driver's seat, drove the car away from the scene. Later, Kenny told defendant Carter to get out of the car, and Kenny then drove the car back to the park and returned it to Christian. At the end of May 2006, defendant Carter told his great aunt that he had shot someone in the back near Charles White Park around Mother's Day and asked her for a ticket to Oregon. His great aunt called the police to confirm that a shooting had occurred and then made arrangement for the police to take Carter into custody. Carter was arrested. Imagine you not having no other family. Your mom passed, your pop's in the penitentiary. You have a great auntie. You're staying with her, and she betrays you after you confide in her. I could imagine the hurt, disappointment, and how it would be easy for this brother to alienate himself from people because he wouldn't trust him. But here you have this brother trying to help people from the penitentiary. Great story. Carter was arrested during a prearranged traffic stop that occurred while the great aunt was driving defendant Carter with his belongings to the airport. In late July 2006, police interviewed provided much of the information just described. In August 2007, both defendants were charged with a single count of attempted willful, deliberate, premeditated murder, Penal Code subsection 187, subdivision A, and 664, subdivision A. The information alleged the crime was committed for the benefit of a criminal street gang and alleged 3 firearm enhancements that a principal personally and intentionally discharged the firearm causing great bodily injury. That a principal personally and intentionally discharged the firearm and that a principal personally used the firearm during the trial and without objection, the information was amended to add a second count, assault with a firearm, subsection 245, subdivision A2, with a gang enhancement. That's with the GBI, the 245A2. I think that means that great bodily injury did actually occur. And an allegation that defendant Carter personally used the firearm. And then the amended information also deleted the allegation that a principal personally used a firearm in connection with the attempted murder charge. At the trial, in addition to the evidence described above, the prosecution presented testimony from Detective Joel Nebel as a gang expert. Nebel testified to the primary activities of the Pasadena Denver Lane murders, attempted murders, assaults with deadly weapons, robberies, the gang's territory, their enemies, the Crip gangs, the history of violence between Pasadena and Denver lanes and the Crip gangs, the Sue Whoop or swoop term used by the gang's members to identify each other, the gang tattoos sported by defendant, and that Isham and Carter were members of the gang when the crime was committed. Neville's opinion in response to a hypothetical question based on the evidence adduced in this case that the charged offenses were committed for the benefit of the gang. Defendant Isham presented an alibi defense in the form of testimony from Joseph Earl. Earl, a longtime friend of Isham, was in prison at the time of the crime, but had telephoned SP, the mother of his son, from prison, and had spoken to defendant Isham, who was at SP's home during the call. Earl remembered making the call on Mother's Day because he wanted to wish SP a happy Mother's Day. The court took judicial notice that in 2006, Mother's Day occurred on Sunday, May 14th. Carter testified on his own behalf. He admitted to the shooting. He said Isham had been dropped off earlier, and a friend of Kenny named Zach was driving the car with Kenny in the passenger seat and the car in the back seat. When they saw TS and RV, Zach ordered everyone out of the car, ran across the street, and hit TS Carter, not really knowing what was happening, jumped out of the car, aimed his gun toward a wall, and fired a shot, not meaning to hurt anyone, but trying to scare the person. Carter didn't know if TS had a gun. Carter said he did not mean to hurt or kill TS. He told Detective Nabel he was alone because he did not want to implicate others. So he lied on the stand. He testified on his own behalf. He lied on the stand and said Isham wasn't even at the scene of the crime. Then he said that them niggas didn't know nothing or whatever because he was just trying to take the blame himself. Basically, he trying to take the case, right? So
Yeah.
Carter also said no one knew he had a gun, which is important because if they don't knowingly know that he have a gun, it's not his actions aren't necessarily foreseeable that he would actually shoot somebody, which he said he had bought that day for $150. Carter also presented testimony from two of his teachers showing that he caused no disciplinary problems, was on the track team, and did very well in the classes. Defendant Isham gave surrebuttal testimony on his own behalf. He said he was passing through the park on the day of the crime to take a Mother's Day present to SP's house. Kenny gave him a ride in the front passenger seat of Christian's car, a Christine's car, and Carter was in the back. Isham said he met Carter for the first time that day. Kenny dropped Isham off at the corner of Lincoln Avenue and Carlton Street, and he went to SP's home and stayed there until after 8 p.m., shortly after the crime was reported. While he was there, he spoke to Joseph Earl on the telephone. After he left, he encountered Christine, got into her car. While riding in the car, the police stopped the car and questioned Isham. The jury returned verdict finding Carter guilty of both charges and finding the gang allegation and firearm enhancements true. Isham was acquitted of the attempted murder count, but convicted of the assault with a firearm with a true finding on the gang enhancement. So I guess your testimony, lying testimony, to us trying to say that he wasn't at the scene did help the jury believe that he and acquit him of the attempted murder count, but still got him on assault with a firearm charge. So we're not gonna get into the appeal and legal issues. Thank God. All praises be to the Most High. Um, he gave this kid another chance, right? He seen what this kid was, where his heart was at. Y'all hit the like button. Let's get to this real quick. Boom. So this was another thing on the Compassion Project. They got dude also. They see what you guys are seeing and heard today. You know what I'm saying? Monica Zamora said, proud of you. The Dante Calvin
Shout out,
said,
Auntie.
Monica say that's our boy. Do Sam the Don, the Damu Kiwe family, everyone in the chat. Salute to you, Drew V. Salute to you, man. But I just wanted to fill out the chat because it's been an hour and a half. This is such a great interview. I'll be looking forward to getting you back. But before you go, I want to know, ask you a little bit about some of your short-term goals and your long-term goals. You don't have to go deep into them, but Red Rider Lane said that is because we were taught to rep our shit. Hey, Red Rider Lane, that's a fact, bro. This new 2025 shit is way different. That's why I'm glad a real solid soldier like the homie found his way through the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Through the hells and wilderness of North America. But Red Rider Lane, salute to you. You 100% right, bro. But yeah, let us know about the homie G-Mac, Pakwema Paru Blood said, shout out to PDL. I know plenty of real ones from that set, plus PDLs in my set. PPB have a brotherhood bond in Lancaster area and some. Salute. Facts. Good looking out, man. Let me put this in here for anybody who want to ask the questions. We're going to start this whenever we have guests. Anybody who wanted, you might not have a question. You might just want to make a statement or give some encouraging words to this brother that he could take with him. But before we go, Tru Wolve Derrick Carter, please let us know your short-term goals and plans. Once your long-term goals and plans.
Okay, gets out the way. Okay, my short-term goals is to I want to finish this program. It's a 3-month program, but you can be here all the way for a year, and they help you get your home, help you get a job, help you get your car. So I'm trying to get that. I'm in the process of working on my mixtape, developing my craft. So I'm getting used to writing again. Called 19 years later. I'm going into college as well as barber school because I want to cut hair. That's my short term goal. Is, go travel, see the world. Go see my mom at her gravesite, leave her flowers. My long term goal is I want to get this STEM education program built up where I can get a brick and mortar so I can have kids actually go to the center. I want to complete college. I want to get my master's degree, my AA first in the social behavior sciences, so I can work with the youth. I want to be a motivational speaker for the kids, give them opportunity to see that life can be better when you make wiser decisions, to teach them that they're not bad kids. No kid is bad. They just make bad decisions. So to try to help them understand discretion, and some type of discipline, get them in sports such as Pamey Palmer, and Darnay Holmes. They're doing a big project in Pasadena, working with the kids. So I want to get involved in that. And my final, like, to finish it all up, I want to make sure my clothing line is out there. I want to own a casino. You print your own currency.
Oh, that's what's up. That's definitely dope. Hey, look, I put the link in the chat. We getting back. You got like us on the TV or computer over there.
Say it again.
Like, are you watching us on YouTube all the time?
Yeah, yes. Every time I get the link, I go stop by real quick.
No, I'm talking about right now.
Oh, right now I'm through Facebook right now.
Oh, that's why, because you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Should have been on the other side. But poor right student. Mute you up real quick. Be terrible for the content. Salute to Do Sims and Yael Chat. Can't do too much typing, hands tied up. Salute poor righteous student. Shout out to Deuce for creating the best content. So show some appreciation by hitting that like button for sure. Yeah, man, please do that. And I know I went early. I got some other stuff to do, but I want to see if anybody want to come up. Slims, I hope the big homie Slim for Swan come up. He was texting my phone talking about how inspirational Tru Wolve is. Derrick Carter, and he was a real warrior. That's in him, right? Hell yeah, Drew V. And to see somebody that strong succeed, only a weak-minded or a person from a weaker position will feel threatened by that. I think that he got a lot to offer to society, and he can lead by example. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they talk about that spice being a bad drug. Yeah. Laugh my damn it, loot from the loot. Let me see. My first time trying that shit was my last time. That shit grabbed me by the throat. I didn't know what was going on. Really ain't so safe to say not like weed. Yeah. Shout out to my sister, rest in peace, Baby D, mom and Lifeline. We're so proud of all you do. Talk in a minute, Danielle Harris. Okay, Monica Zamora, we appreciate that support he needed. You know what I'm saying? Everything, you can have short-term and long-term goals, because if you don't got a plan, these people got a plan and a place for you. And I'm quite sure he going to have, but some things go wrong. So you got to have a plan A, a plan B, plan C, in case so until you get to your goal. You know what I'm saying? And loved ones, support group, kind of like us. We need to be there for brothers like him. You know what I'm saying? That might be the one thing that could help him help to change that statistic, that recidivism statistic. You know what I'm saying? Fam West TV, salute West West. You know what I'm saying? Blessed family. Yeah, he definitely blessed, man. Blessings to the brother. Let's get them likes up. And I guess nobody want to come up. So since they ain't coming up, we gonna bring this one short. But let me tell the brother before he leave, we definitely be having you back soon. You know, I got my together. I got check. Okay, the homie said at work. He said, Juan said, Hold on. The homie Big D
The
Slim for
homie D
Sunny Fried
Slim was
homie, stay focused and don't get
stay
distracted.
focused. Don't get distracted.
That's like a good plan.
Thank
You know
you.
what I'm saying? So we
Good plan. You know?
we support you in
So,
any way we can.
we
That's
we
within our
you in the that's what
capability. Have you on here? We're gonna work together on some charitable stuff. That on that's what we build our friendship, communication line. When you drop in your first,
Hey, thank you. I can't really hear you. I want to leave.
yeah, we can't hear him. We can't hear him. Yeah, we can't hear you. Hold on. Try again. Oh yeah, there you go. I can hear something.
Oh yeah, there you go. I can hear something.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to leave my Instagram.
Yes, sir.
You can follow me on Instagram at Tru Wolve. That's one word. That's TruWolve. Tru Wolve. Look for the one with the most followers on there. They're making fake pages of mine, but the one with the most followers it's on private, so I'll accept you. Show me love on there. On my Facebook is Derrick DERRICK D. Carter, CARTER. So show me some love, follow me. I thank you for your support, for your love, for y'all shout outs. I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you. And shout out Dude Sims. Appreciate you, bro.
Man, all the time,
Man,
man.
all
We
the
here
time,
for
man.
you.
We here for you.
To the next time,
To the next
it's
time,
definitely
it's
thank you for maybe a month or
for a month to
make sure we get up here
we get up here with
and
and
man,
All right, thank you. You have a
all
blessed
right,
day.
all right.
all right.
Salute to the brother, man.
Salute
You know what I'm saying? He started getting some bad but I hope everybody was able to catch that. One of my favorite interviews already. Whenever we could come with this, we could get back to flaming up, you know what I'm saying, the exposures and all of the internet shit. That shit ain't reality. What we just talked about right now is a harsh reality within our communities where people that look like us disproportionately fill these jail cells. There's too many stories like that. His story's so similar to mine, right? And maybe that's another reason why we hit it off. But very intelligent brother, mentally strong brother, straight warrior, man. Pasadena, y'all raised them up right, man. Salute to that brother, Tru Wolve. Derrick Carter is freed. He's in the halfway house, but he is free. Thank God the brother is out, and I hope he continue to build on the positivity and follow the light that the Lord shined down onto him. Until the next time, we up conversation. You see him, the guy. We out of here.